the next project. I kind of want to like a rock wall, decorative, kind of looks like it's in sliding down a rock cave or something like that. So I obviously don't have an in-ground pool with a good base. I'm on a deck that's above ground on stilts. So what I'm doing is I'm taking every scrap piece of wood I got. I'm building just like a main frame structure, little platforms. I have an extra roll of chicken wire that I had from back when I did my chickens, some extra stuff. And I'm just using pieces of wood to make a base area. And I'm gonna fill it with some foam to make some like stability on the inside, and spray foam. And then I'm going to take like the Sanskrit concrete, the high fiber one, to be able to design and mold like almost like a sculpture, rock sculptures, and obviously a platform. So it'll all look like it's concrete rock platformed through here, and then like a little kind of cave entrance you walk in. This will be all rock, and then you'll be able to walk around to the ladder on that side, walk around to the ladder on that side, and then this will be like opened in the inside, and then this will be all like rock, and it'll be so you can kind of step up onto it and jump into the pool. Same thing this one, you can step up onto it or sit on the platform and jump into the pool. But I'm kind of using my scrap stuff I got here, and we're going to see how well this goes. This is like an experiment. So I got most of the spray foam. Well, I'm pretty much done with the spray foam. I have foamed as much as I can. It is hardening and drying everywhere, and it is bubbled up in all different shape and design, kind of all around, down underneath. I didn't put any up under there. So everything is going to be hand packed with concrete, reinforced with fiber concrete, and I will be able to design a little rock wall, well, flux rock wall, because this is so light. Since I am on a deck up here, and having a solid concrete wall will not suffice. So this was a lot of cans of spray foam. So if you wanted to do some spray foam, I had it packed up as much as I could around the caging, but you want to pack as much as you can so you don't have to spray as much inside, and you just kind of want to spray on the outside, because I think I used I bought 30, and then I probably used about 60 cans of spray foam of the 12-ounce one. So that's a lot of spray foam. So the next part is the concrete work. So what I did is I got this type of concrete. It's got I'm shadowing it, but crack resistance, fiber reinforced. So this actually helps keep everything like in like a thicker state and stop it from like cracking and breaking apart as easily. So the way I had to do the concrete, initially I started out with just pouring some in, putting some water in, and mixing it, and I got it too soupy. So I did the top part, because then it just doesn't flow down. To do the sidewalls, you have to have a thicker consistency. So I just got rid of doing that, and literally a couple cups or dumping some of the bag in there, like just a little bit, mixing it up, like just sprinkling some water on it, mixing it by hand, sprinkle some water, mix it by hand, because you have to have a very thick consistency to get it to stick to the wall, because it's not going to stick to the wall or to the side. Pretty much if you have it too soupy, you put it on, it's just going to go and drop right down. So to get it to form and shape the way you want to, very thick consistency. Everyone says like peanut butter to get it sticks on the side, which it is. It's literally, as I was hand mixing it, it's literally like making peanut butter cookies. You make it like a thick hand thing, so you can like literally almost form it like a ball and to make peanut butter cookies. So that's how the walls and the sides have to be done. And then, so basically I have a bucket for mixing and a bucket for water. I wear gloves, so obviously see I don't really have any concrete on my hands. And I literally, once I mush it on there, because I'm doing small batches at a time, because I got to actually form and shape it too. So I chunk it on into little spots, mush it on, get it to sit there, and then once I'm done with my one bucket that I've mixed up, then I dip my hands in water and I just go like this and I form it and get with the gloves on and stuff like that to get more of a smooth consistency all around, and then to get the shapes and the different contours of wherever the spray foam ended up landing. So and people do other things. They'll take meshing and make little round balls and boulders and stuff like that to make like specific boulders. I just want a rock wall, and then I'll maybe add some other stuff as I go through, but I think the spray foam actually made some good contours in when I was molding it. So that's kind of the next part when you're putting all this concrete on. So this is only, they're 50-pound bags. I think there's 80-pound bags they sell, which I can't seem to find the 80-pound. I only find the 50. So 50-pound bags, and I only bought 4 to start with. Just I wanted to see if this is the right concrete, if it will work, and it's working. So, and that's 2 bags right there. So I think I'm going to need quite a bit of concrete. But this is literally hand sculpturing the entire wall area. So as you see, it's going to take a bit to get all the outside done. And then I am done with the first 4 bags of 50 pounds of concrete each. So this is what we got so far. So I was able to go around the whole box, little platform. It's starting to dry. Had to stop anyways. I usually stop about an hour before it starts raining. It's Florida. It rains like pretty much every afternoon. And I got the lower portion done around the edge here, and then a little bit in the back right there. So that is where we got with the four bags basically. And we still got all that and all of that, and over here, oh yeah, I had a little bit of sludge left and I just kind of poured it over the top. So that's what we got. And another thought would be, that's only 4 bags. As I said, when I wrapped around, how many more bags am I gonna need? Like 20, 50-pound bag? That's a lot of concrete. So another option would be just to concrete the base on both sides and down, and concrete the little blocks platform because people stand on it, same as the other one I did, and try to do like glue sand kind of textures. You mix the sand, you put the sand in with it, and you pretty much glue it on, and then you get some of that texture painting, and you texture paint it. So I might end up doing that instead, just for the walls, and just do the concrete for the base and the platforms. That's a lot of concrete for this. This is an above ground deck, and I'm gonna go and reinforce the beams down on the bottom anyways, but still, that's a lot of concrete. We'll see. So this is what I did instead. I was getting concerned about how heavy the concrete was. This was the 4 bags, then I added 2 more bags by going around the base there and over there. So 2 bags for 6 bags so far, and yeah, that's 50 pounds per bag. And no, I think we're gonna go a different route. So I think it's gonna be way too heavy. So I actually had some thin set, or not thin set, I had tile adhesive left from a project, so I'm like, let me put some tile adhesive over this, and it actually did pretty good. I used a putty knife, put it in all the little cracks and crevices, and then took the glove that I had on, wetted it down with water, and just patted it down. And because there's creases and little wrinkles in the gloves as you wear them, it literally put the little like kind of scratch marks like what would be on like a cave wall or a rock wall. So I'm like, okay, that'll work. And then oh yeah, and I put my dragon up here. I have a feeling after the first slide down it's gonna get ripped off, but we'll see. And as this is drying, it's gonna shrink in. And then what I did is I bought like textured gray paint, so I can spray paint it and see how it's like sucking in and drying and cracking. So it kind of looks like the rock. I'm gonna put a couple different colors in it to give it more of a different color. This will be like the base coat. So, and then since I'm doing tile adhesive over it, I'm gonna have to get more spray foam and fill in that, because that's just, if I was gonna do concrete, I could have filled in a little mesh there, because I ran out of spray foam for the inside on the little corridors. So I'm gonna have to get spray foam, finish that up, then get another bucket of tile adhesive, and I should literally be able to finish all this with the bucket of tile adhesive. And then there's the spray paint, and then this will dry. This is still wet because tile adhesive takes forever to dry. So, and I think it'll work. It'll be a lot lighter. I did the concrete at the bottom anyways for basically kids kicking. So it's more sturdy at the bottom and then up at the top is more just, once it hardens, you can just put your hands on it, and as long as they don't like start digging at it with like something, fork or something. But this is sturdy. This is actually very sturdy. So the concrete block worked, and this one's, I'm not gonna step on it because that one's like still drying, but that one will work. And then I will finish it up. I just gotta get some more material and wait for this to dry, and I think everything will work. And then we'll get the base gray down and do some color tinting with it, and we will have a flux rock wall. So it's been about 2 weeks to kind of like finish product here. I painted the deck, so I painted it a lighter gray, which is pretty much the same color match to my house, pretty much. So to build this, I explained I had to do a frame structure, wire mesh, and spray foam and concrete, and I ended up using tile adhesive to get to fill in the stuff to make it lighter, because concrete, it would have had a lot of it. It would have had a lot of concrete and weighed a lot. So what I ended up doing is anything standing on concrete, wooden frame structure, solid enough to stand on, and then concreted over it. Well, wire meshed, filled it in with like a whole bunch of like foam and anything I can get a hold of, and then concreted it. Same thing like I explained the other side, concreted it. So anything you stand on. And then I had a wooden board here, basically to brace that against it, to kind of keep it locked in there. Hurricanes, wind, stuff like that. I mean, if a hurricane comes through, it'll probably tear apart everything. But to kind of lock it in from wind and stuff. And concrete all along the outer edges, the whole thing, the outer edge, bottom, and all down there. So I concreted the bottom. And that's when so I used about 7 bags of 50-pound bags of concrete, and it was the fiber reinforced concrete. Then I ended up deciding to do spray foam because it was lighter, and then I spray foamed all this and all this with the wire mesh in there, and that was about, I think, about 75 to 80 cans of the little cheap yellow spray foam. That was the 12-ounce cans. It was a lot of cans, so I ended up spray foaming everything. Then, because it looks bubbly like this, like these are fill-in spots, because I had to fill it in because I couldn't really, the tile adhesive wasn't like forming, so I used the tile adhesive, which it turned out great. If you see how it's got this, when it dried, it got this little crack structure through it, and it's solid. Okay, so the tile adhesive, if you do it, get it from Lowe's, because this is what it'll look like, and it'll be solid. Like, well, solid is what you want to get it. There's the Home Depot version too. So tile adhesive, whatever, general something. This was like a, I can't remember what started with an M, I think, like Mott 1 or whatever it was, a tile adhesive. But this dried like within I would say couple hours, 4 or 5 hours, maybe. I pretty much waited until the sun baked it, so we'll say 6 hours, and then it dried completely solid like this before I painted it, and then it cracked like this, and it looked awesome. You could tell the difference because remember when I said I did the first one over here, same thing, I used tile adhesive over all the spray foam to kind of get that structure. This was the Home Depot version, so it didn't really crack too much. But as you've seen, I poked finger holes through it because it wouldn't dry. This was put on a week ago, and there is still soft spots within it. And then I even let down here so you could see the difference. So you see how this is all cracked and solid and nice. And then you look down here, I used the Home Depot version right here. You could see the difference in it. It didn't crack, it went solid, and I still, if I push really hard, I could feel squishy spots. And I let this dry for 2 days before I spray painted it, and it still wouldn't dry. I was just getting tired of waiting, so I needed to get it done pretty much this weekend. And so yeah, that's, if you do tile adhesive to get the look of the crack and everything, use the Lowe's 3.5 pound or 3.5 pound buckets and stuff if you use it, depending on your project how much you need. I ended up using 3.5 pounds buckets, so basically 3 large buckets of tile adhesive, about 75 to 80 cans of spray foam, wooden structure, pressure treated wood to make the structure part, 7 bags of concrete, and about 12 cans of different variations of gray spray paint. So I like dark gray spray painted everything, both after everything dried. Well, dried as much as the outer end dried, and once all that dried, I got a pint of primer gray paint that was a lighter gray, obviously. And then what I did is I took the brush, dipped it in, just kind of like brushed it, got all the paint off of it, and just like lightly brushed over it, so it went over all the little ridges and cracks and crevices, so it looks like it just covered a little bit. If I globbed it on too much, I had a rag and just kind of wiped it and smushed it in. And that is kind of how I got the outer edge look. So I used different colors of gray for the spray paint. Did the different colors, and then I used a latex primer gray, and to get the shiny kind of different texture look of it. And then I finished up underneath and made the little see how it's a little wet around the edge, because when I did the spray paint, I sprayed and I already painted the deck, and I got a little bit overspray on it, which is dark spray paint, so I had to touch it up, and that'll dry and it'll match the color of the deck, because the deck, if you remember, it was like chipping up and really bad, and I repainted it, so it looks really nice now. And I got my nice little rock feature going on. The only thing I still need to put is I need to make a little concrete hidden Mickey. Like I need to get some concrete, or I could probably use grout and make the little, like the ball and the 2 little heads and stuff like that, and put a little hidden Mickey up there. My little kids will like it. I'll just leave it there and see if somebody figures it out that's there. My son will probably find it first. And then I glue this down, which I use a tile adhesive glue it. This one's kind of gone, this one's kind of okay, but see how this one's a little wobbly? Yeah, that one's going to come off really easy. So I'm going to have to put something up underneath there, like some more tile adhesive, glue it down, like form it a little bit better, and then repaint, do some touch-up paint on it. But otherwise, it looks, I mean, for being an experiment, it looks pretty good. I don't know how well somebody else would like it, but I don't know, I think it's actually pretty cool. So it's not bad for being an above ground experiment with all kinds of weird stuff to get it to look the way it did. And another thing I did was try to encase the ladder into it. So if you look, I put the spray foam and the tile adhesive and try to incorporate that this was built into the rock, and the rock took over. Project. The only other thing I need to figure out is, since this is one of those little pool things that you can spit out water, you can hook a regular garden hose to it, but what I want to do is somehow get a little hole, maybe coming out, like maybe right there, my tube coming out of the water jet towards the pool, not using the water jet, but like using the filter part of it and feed it through, so when the water is pushing out through the water jet, it's also pushing out through the hose. And then I might be able to get a kind of like a water feature, kind of constant water flow, because I don't want to use a hose and constantly run, because obviously you're using a hose and it's filling up and putting more water in the pool, and then I backwash it and it just drains out of the overflows basically, because I have a self-containing refiller right there, and so the pool stays topped off for the summer. I don't have to constantly fill it. But that's kind of what I'm looking at, trying to figure out how to do that. So it's running off of the regular water coming from the pool and constantly cycling through. So I just got to figure that out, because it's a little harder with an above ground pool, because it's not hardline plumbing like a in-ground pool. But I'll figure it out eventually.